Hello and welcome to our channel. Chris Howe has never been less of an inventive person. He had the dance to Michael Jackson's Thriller memorized when he was a little child and would perform it for his family in the living room of their home. In high school, he became a member of a band that was led by his English instructor and was known as the Detention Crew. When he was growing up, it was less of a question and more of a fact that he would one day make a living off of his works in some kind. Chris's life was dedicated to entertaining others. Once, he played his guitar while standing on a surfboard as a friend drove a boat and videotaped the performance. The footage of the prank, which he then published to YouTube, led to him being featured on Good Morning America. This was the beginning of what has become a successful and fulfilling career as a filmmaker, creative director, and creator for him. Chris creates material for more than 1 million fans across YouTube and Instagram, in addition to producing content for companies such as Mercedes-Benz, Adobe, and Google. Chris has turned himself into an idea machine in order to manage his channels. Each week, he comes up with between 30 and 40 bankable ideas and then decides which ones to prioritize based on their potential. It takes him around a week to create each of his movies, which means that a single choice can influence the next 30 hours of his life. Thus, that choice had better be a good one. Chris had spent many years inventing, and as a result, he had accumulated not only a vast store of ideas but also a depth of knowledge about ideas in general. He took 400 bits of advice and narrowed them down to 50, then compiled them into a deck of cards titled Dumb Block and sold them to his followers. Discover how to get into the zone. Steven Spielberg has talked about how he had a tape recorder in his car, and when he was driving, that's when he'd come up with some of his best ideas. Chris explains, "When I'm in a state of flow or when I'm not actively thinking about anything, I have the best ideas. It's driving, it's cooking, it's taking a shower. It's the locations where I can kick back and relax, where I'm already on autopilot. Keep a notebook close at hand or activate the voice recorder on your mobile device so that you may jot down your best ideas whenever inspiration strikes. Share with someone your most terrible concept. There is always a small part of you that thinks, 'No, that would never work,' which prevents you from expressing it out loud or brainstorming it with someone else. This is because you constantly have this 'no, that would never work' thought. What if you let go of the expectation that it had to be your best idea by embracing the fact that you believe it to be your worst idea?" According to Chris, one of the most effective ways to break through a creative block is to just tell someone else about it and give yourself permission to do it. There is a good chance that the brainstorm will lead to something that you will just adore. And if it doesn't, don't worry about it, since there is always going to be another terrible idea. Make use of the same strategy but a different instrument. Our brains thrive on new experiences, and sometimes the only way to break through a creative block is to change things up a bit. In the case of a musician, this might imply creating a tune on a guitar rather than the more conventional piano. For one day, a writer might find it helpful to use a typewriter rather than a computer. It means that Chris will have to film his videos using his phone rather than a dedicated camera. Trust your gut. You can think of this as the intellectual version of the game rock, paper, scissors, except that everyone wins. Chris refers to an episode of the television sitcom The Office in which one character is urging another to communicate how he feels in an honest and direct manner, saying, "Tell it now. 3, 2, 1. Say it now. How do you feel? Speak it now." We all have trouble believing what our gut tells us, but ultimately, it's the best indicator we have of who we are and how we can tell when we have something that's really very excellent. Thus, start counting down, and then let me know what's going through your head. You probably already have the brilliant idea. The problem is that you are preventing yourself from acting on it. Take action on the ideals that are actually genuine. Because a significant amount of material in the economy of creators is sponsored, it is essential for creators to appeal to the businesses with which they wish to develop connections. Nevertheless, if you really dig deep, you'll usually find that there's a message you really want to convey. When people ask me, "What's your favorite video?" I always say it depends. I always tell them that it was the one in which I composed and then recited a piece of poetry that held a great deal of personal significance for me. And the reason for that is that it was loaded with a lot of feeling. Chris claims, I gave everything I said a lot of consideration. When I've had the confidence to do something different or an idea that I truly wanted to do but was scared, it has really shown in the audience, and it has really spoken volumes in the results, I said. When I've had the confidence to do something different or an idea that I truly wanted to do but was scared. Unleash the creative potential that lies dormant within you. Chris always inquires about his friends' aspirations whenever they come to him for guidance. Since we all want to live in the land of feeling successful, a lot of people are attempting to copy things they've seen or ideas that aren't their own, he adds. A lot of people are trying to emulate things they've seen or ideas that aren't their own. I make an effort to behave in a therapeutic manner and just ask questions that will help them build their own self-confidence. Because you are the key, you are aware of this on some level and you need to discover a means to unlock your creative potential. Thank you for watching and remember to let us know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe.